What's for lunch? Did you catch that?
Pop-Tart.
Yum. Listen carefully to the memory verse.
The Lord has told you what is good. He has told you what He wants from you, to do what is right to other people, love being kind to others, and live humbly obeying your God. Micah 6:8.
Guess the missing word. Versus battle. Burping. Winner! Do you remember this song?
Genesis, Exodus, Leviticus, Numbers and Deuteronomy, Joshua, Judges, Ruth, 1st and 2nd Samuel, 1st and 2nd Kings, 1st and 2nd Chronicles, Ezra, Nehemiah, Esther, Job and Psalms and Proverbs, Ecclesiastes, Song of Songs.
What's for lunch?
No.
Did you catch that?
No. Corn dog.
Yum.
I'm reading my Bible, and this is what it says to me. It tells me that I'm never ever alone. I'm learning how Jesus came down to us and gave His best. Without a doubt, the best friend you'll ever know. Our God knows exactly what I need, so I remember this. Let's go! When you ask, He cares. When you seek, He's there. When you knock, 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 God opens up the door. When you ask, He cares. When you seek, He's there. When you knock, 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 God opens up the door. Oh, oh. I'm reading my Bible, and this is what it says to me. It tells me that I'm never ever alone. I'm learning how Jesus came down to us and gave His best. Without a doubt, the best friend you'll ever know. Our God knows exactly what I need, so I remember this. Let's go! When you ask, He cares. When you seek, He's there. When you knock, 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 God opens up the door. When you ask, He cares. When you seek, He's there. When you knock, 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 God opens up the when you seek, He's there. When you knock, 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 God opens up the door. When you ask, He cares. When you seek, He's there. When you knock, 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 God opens up the door. God knows exactly what I need, so I remember this. Let's go. When you ask, He cares. When you seek, He's there. When you knock, 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 God opens up the door. When you ask, He cares. When you seek, He's there. When you knock, 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 God opens up the door.
Joseph refuses to do wrong. Genesis 39, verses 6 through 21. In this series, we're studying the life of a man from the Bible named Joseph. Does anyone remember some things we've talked about so far? Say them out loud. Great answers, you guys. Here's a few reminders. We've learned that Joseph came from a really big family. He had lots of brothers. He had 11, but he was his father's favorite son. His brothers sold him as a slave because they were jealous of Joseph and because Joseph had told them things that they didn't want to hear. When Joseph was sold as a slave, he worked really hard in Egypt. He was a slave in the household of a man named Potiphar, and Potiphar was a government official who had a lot of wealth. But because Joseph was a faithful servant and he made sure to do what was right, Potiphar saw his good character and gave him a lot of favor. He put him in charge of all sorts of stuff. Joseph had some really crazy things happen to him. Even though things were tough for Joseph, he had a great attitude and learned to do what's right by working hard. Joseph also learned the importance of being kind while in Egypt. As I read, I want you to count how many times the woman in today's story is not kind to Joseph. Joseph worked hard, and Potiphar trusted him to be in charge of his whole house. Not only was Joseph a hard worker, he was also handsome and strong too. Potiphar's wife noticed Joseph. She wanted Joseph to fall in love with her, but Joseph knew this was wrong because she was already married. Joseph told Potiphar's wife that he would not fall in love with her. She kept begging Joseph to be her man, and he refused every time. He knew this would not be the kind of thing to do to Potiphar, and that it would be a great sin against God. Because she was trying to get Joseph to do the wrong thing, Potiphar's wife was not being kind to Joseph. While Joseph was working on his chores inside the house, Potiphar's wife grabbed his coat and tried to force him to kiss her. Joseph realized he needed to run away from her, and when he did, he left his coat in her hands. Potiphar's wife was not happy that she couldn't get Joseph to do what she wanted. She made up lies about Joseph and told some of the servants that Joseph was the one trying to get her to fall in love with him. It was not kind of Potiphar's wife to say things about Joseph that weren't true. When Potiphar came home, his wife continued to lie by telling him that Joseph had done really terrible things to her. Potiphar believed his wife, sadly, even though she was lying, and he was angry with Joseph. Because Potiphar's wife was not kind to Joseph by lying to her husband, Potiphar decided to punish Joseph. He put Joseph in prison where Pharaoh's enemies had to stay. How many times did you count Potiphar's wife doing something unkind to Joseph? Say your answers out loud. Good guesses. If you counted 4, you're right. Because Potiphar's wife was unkind to Joseph, he ended up having to go to jail. Even though he went to jail, he still chose to show her kindness by forgiving her. There are times when people are unkind to us by trying to pressure us into doing wrong things. What are some experiences you've had like this? When people try to get us to do the wrong thing, they're not showing us kindness. Like Joseph, we can choose to do the right thing and show others kindness too.
So, the other day, I'm sitting in class, and Billy throws a paper plane straight into the back of Mr. Quattlebaum. Mr. Q was furious and immediately turned around to get justice. As soon as he looked in my direction, Billy told Mr. Quattlebaum that I threw it. Dude, I could not believe that he was shifting the blame my way. Without even thinking about it, Mr. Q kicked me out into the hall. I had to spend the entire day in detention and was ready to plan my revenge until I saw this. Joseph was that dude. He got the attention of everyone he met. He learned the importance of being kind to others, and his hardworking attitude as a slave paid off. Potiphar, the Pharaoh's main man, noticed Joseph and put him in charge of his whole house. With Joseph calling the shots, Potiphar didn't have anything to worry about except for the food that he was going to eat. He could trust Joseph to take care of everything he owned. Not only was Joseph kind, he was strong and handsome too. He wasn't in charge for long when Potiphar's wife, let's just call her Potiphar, noticed Joseph. In fact, she wanted Joseph to fall in love with her, but Joseph knew that this was wrong because she was already married. Joseph told Potiphar that there was no way that he could fall in love with her, but she did not care. Every day she would beg Joseph to be her man, but he refused. He knew he needed to be kind to his master, and most importantly, he knew it would be a sin against God. It's kind of like if you found a $5 bill on the floor next to your friend's desk. You know the money belongs to them, but you could keep it for yourself. The kind thing to do would be to give the money back to your friend. Well, Joseph kept working hard, but one day he was inside doing his chores when Potiphar grabbed him by the coat and tried to force him to love her. Joseph knew he'd better run away, so when he did, he left his coat in Potiphar's hands. As you can imagine, she did not think it was cool that Joseph wouldn't do what she wanted. She decided to make up lies about him, telling some of her servants that Joseph wanted her to fall in love with him. She could not wait for Potiphar to come home, and when he did, she lied and said that Joseph had done some really terrible things to her. Well, of course, Potiphar was angry. He could not believe that Joseph would treat her so unkindly. To punish Joseph, Potiphar had him thrown into prison, where the king's enemies were kept. So, that really stunk for Joseph. You would think he would have tried to punch Potiphar's lights out, but instead, he chose to forgive the false accusation and make the most of his days in prison. I've got one more day of detention for something that I didn't even do, but instead of being angry and thinking about ways to pay back Billy, I'm going to make the most of my time and get to know the kids that are in there. It's really cool that even when other people aren't kind to us, God can help us be kind to them. When we follow God, we get to love being kind.